Time to talk Robert Lewandowski, because it is a big topic right now at Barcelona. What have you made overall? We'll start on a generality about it, of his struggles this season. Because going into the season, one of the big factors he wanted to do was prove that this is not the start of his decline.
Yeah, and I think he did that to a degree, right? In his first season, it wasn't all that bad. Even if you were to look at his numbers now, maybe they're not the numbers that he had at Bayern, but I think that goes a little bit deeper with the predicament that Barcelona are in, right? I mean, he's of course responsible for a loss of form, because this is not Robert Lewandowski at his best. The age does matter, because you can see that, it seems that he lost a step a little bit. I'm not sure. Is it because of lack of confidence? Probably a little bit of both in his age. But I think a lot of it also has to do with pressure on him, not just at Barcelona, but with Poland, because it's probably less talked about in Spain or elsewhere, but there's a massive pressure there. He's the captain of that team. He's the one that really, and I don't want, him and Piotr Zielinski from Napoli, I suppose. He's well known, and he's. I think in Poland, everybody expects him to carry the team, and his inability as a captain to do so is incredible. Let's not forget that Poland's going into the playoffs in terms of European Championship. Estonia is the first one, and then probably Wales. And this is inability for Robert Lewandowski to help in a significant way for Poland to come out of what I think may be the easiest group in the history of football. Right, because you look at Albania, you look at Czech Republic, you look at Faroe Islands and Moldova, which, by the way, they led 2-0 and they lost 3-2. They lost to Albania. I mean, this was a shoo-in. Two top teams go out, and Albania, Czech Republic goes out. So obviously, as a captain, every time he comes back, let's not forget, terrible World Cup, not just for Poland, but Robert Lewandowski. Some of the things that may not be talked about is, and I don't want to go too deep on that one, but there was a massive bonus story, as they go around the international time, that he as a captain was involved in. So that pressure, maybe, the pressure alone playing for Barcelona is immense. So when things don't go your way there, and then you come to Poland, and that's just multiplied by, just about 40 million Poles, that is incredible. So when you think about all of that, it's a tough environment to be at your best, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you actually bring up an insight that so many won't know with the Polish side of things, with that weight that he is obviously carrying on his shoulders twofold.
By the way, sorry for interrupting, but that's 10 times worse than Barcelona in a way. Because at Barcelona, you at least think that when things go your way, when the key players return, when the best players are at their best form, it's no problem. He's going to get his goals and the pressure is going to go away. With Poland, I'm sorry to say, but if he doesn't do it, who else is going to do it? Yet the expectations from the Polish fans, as you know, just like anywhere in the world, are the same. To Poland, being in the European Championship in Germany next to Poland is very, very important. So I think that pressure, it's crazy to say, but I think the pressure there as the captain of the Polish national team, it's much, much bigger in so many ways than at Barcelona.
Yeah, and so you wonder if that's leaking in as well with the way he's feeling at the moment. Let's stick to the Barca side of things, because there is a lot of thought here at the moment, Janusz, on whether he should be benched by Xavi or whether he should continue playing him and persisting with him, and hopefully that he gets back to that version of himself that we do know.
Well, I still think you give him a little bit of a leash, right? Because as I've said, I mean, Xavi has a bigger problem than Robert Lewandowski. I think, properly functioning team will help Robert Lewandowski. I mean, he's going to go score his goals with service and all of that. And I don't mean that as an excuse, but so I would still, because it's a massive, massive investment. And I think, of course, he's got a great history of scoring everywhere he's gone. So I think I'll give him a little bit of a leash. But then if it doesn't work, he has to be benched, right? I mean, he has to taste that. He's not going to take that lightly. He's not going to take that well, but he's a competitor. He's a competitor that's won just about everything there is to be won. Oh no, he's won everything on at the club level. So I think you give him a little bit of that leash, but when it's called for, if I were Xavi, I wouldn't care if it's Lewandowski or who it is. If he's not performing, he's got to go to the bench. I mean, it's Xavi's job on the line. He's not going to survive much longer if this continues.
He's the one who's persisted with him. He's the one who's showed that faith in him as well. I suppose one of the big talking points, we brought it up on FC the other day, mainly because this is some of the words coming from Spanish media, coming from Barcelona fans, as to whether this player is actually going to be phased out. Whether you look at the other forwards and you think, well, could they be doing a better job than him right now? Now Vitor Roque's come in. Obviously, he's only 18. He's going to need time as well. But what do you think of those who say that there might be a way that this player is phased out, that's what maybe could be happening?
Robert, yeah, but I mean, how you don't phase him out by not playing. I mean, he's earning massive amounts of money, right? He's got a contract for another season. So if you want to phase him out, you have to sell him somewhere and you have to recoup the money. And we all know the position that Barcelona are in. I mean, they flew to the United States to play Club America and lost that too, by the way. Why? Because they need the money. So with Robert, it's a tricky situation because first of all, you want to get him right. The number one job of Xavi and Barcelona is, before they think of anything else, is to make sure that Robert Lewandowski gets back to scoring ways, because he knows how to do that. He really knows, and he's gonna do it once he tastes it. Once you get a couple wins, and Robert Lewandowski is part of that, where he participates in scoring, things and that confidence will come back, and that's the way. Now, I mean, obviously he's 36 years old, so I get what you're saying, but this shouldn't be done in a way where Robert Lewandowski's head goes even lower. You have to build him up as much as you can because you want him to help you win La Liga or win the Champions League or be in a conversation even. That's your number one job. And in the meantime, you can do both, right? So you bring him up, everybody, Robert's happy, Barcelona are happy. And of course, you have to be thinking now, okay, what do we do a year from now? Do we find a way? Now he's at his best, he's scoring goals. Can we possibly recoup some money for him? Because that time was always going to come.
But we are at the halfway point of La Liga season, Janusz. We've seen the run that he's been on so far. So they're 7 points behind the top two of Real Madrid and Girona right now. Could have been worse, but it isn't. It is 7 points right now. With the way things do go in football, a whole half season to go, you don't want to make too many assumptions, but it's quite a sizable drop-off from those top two who are leading La Liga. And then it turns attentions to the Super Cup, which is coming up this week. And on Thursday, Barcelona will be in action against Barcelona. Has it put an even bigger emphasis on the importance of this competition for this side, who really do need something right now?
I mean, it's Barcelona. I don't know how much the Copa. Look, I mean, I don't want to diminish the importance of winning a title. And, players love it. It doesn't matter what it is. As you build up and you go through the stages like you do right now against small opposition, yeah, you kind of don't look at that. But at the end of the day, players love celebrating trophies. They love, what happens afterwards and the fans and the celebration. It doesn't really matter what it is. So what I'm going to say is it's not going to hurt them, but certainly Barcelona are not built, to be celebrating only winning Copa del Rey. So I don't know. I think number one thing is to steady the ship right now, see if they can stay within touch of Real Madrid and Girona, mostly Real Madrid, I think, if we're honest. To see if they can make a push towards the end, right? I mean, you want to be in that situation where in April, May, you kind of within a couple of points and maybe you have a shot at that. And obviously Champions League, that's the priority right there, because it seems to me that sometimes it's easier to win that competition than anything else if things go right your way.
Who are your Barca superstars right now? Because obviously you'd think of Robert Lewandowski, but you think of Pedri, you think of Gavi, Pedri who's continually getting injured and coming back in and is immensely talented. Gavi, who's going to be a big miss, who even among this really difficult season that by their standards Barcelona have been having, then gets badly injured and has gone as well. Who are the big stars now? Because if you look across at Real Madrid, and Barcelona fans must be doing this, you're looking at the signings that are coming in. You're looking at the two Brazilians that they've got in Vini and Rodrigo. You're looking at how Jude Bellingham's doing. Arda Güler's just coming back now from injury after getting signed. Endrick's coming in. There's all these big name signings, and now it just seems to be only a matter of time until it is Mbappe. Is there a thought that maybe a big Galactico, sorry that it's Barcelona and I'm using this word, style signing might help Barcelona to give them that boost.
Yeah, but how and when and with which money? Yours, mine? I mean, they're nowhere near Real Madrid, right? When it comes to that, because you can rattle off 7, 8, or 9. I mean, starting 11. Where with Barcelona at this moment on current form, I mean, the only players that I could even consider being the superstar at this moment, I mean, Frankie De Jong looks the part to me, and Ter Stegen, who's out actually and probably back in a couple of weeks. I think I read this morning, maybe a little bit sooner than they expected. Anybody else is well below their best, and even when they're at their best, it's still hard to compare them to some of the players with Real Madrid, right? I mean, I would include Robert Lewandowski at his best. He would be there. So maybe 2 or 3 players, as I said. And then Real Madrid could look at the players they have and said, okay, those 3 are great, but we have as good, if not better. So that's reality of this. And I don't know how that's going to change. It's not going to change in January. Obviously, they're making a push with the stadium, which in a way, I get it, because better and nicer stadium is going to bring more money. But at this particular time for Barcelona, I mean, it's just probably the worst time where they have to kind of deal with that because of the financial situation. So I don't see that happening. You just hope that the rebuild is going to take a little bit less. Some of these young players that have been rushed into senior football, because let's be honest, that's what's happening, right? And we're talking about Pedri, we're talking about Gavi, we've talked about Ansu Fati in the past.
Since 16 years old.
Right. We're talking about Yamal right now. This is not the way it's supposed to be done. It's supposed to be done that these players are coming up, at the time where maybe, I don't know, Busquets has been there a little bit longer, Alba, where they're, they're counting up. Barcelona are basically counting on 16, 17, 18-year-olds to win them trophy against the likes of Real Madrid, who have incredible players in each position. So is it possible? Of course, it's Barcelona, and I'll never say never, but I think it's they are doing to some of these young players that they have an unbelievable disservice. And you're just hoping that at some stage, when they come back from injuries, they're going to say, okay, let's cut our losses here. Let's not do it at all costs. Let's put an arm around the Yamals and Pedris and Gavis, even if it means, I don't want to say losing a game, but, don't play them just because you have to, or you think you have to. Give them time, because they've been rushed. They need to be developed. And I think in time, you can have the next, Xavis and Iniestas and Messi, I suppose.
Okay, so just to finally end this topic and end this segment altogether today, it's a 2-part question. How do you see the season panning out for Barcelona, and will Xavi last the season?
Oh, yeah, I worry for Xavi. I don't know, with everything that's going on, if he's got the experience and know-how how to deal with all of that. And that's not always going against him, right? I mean, he's still a young manager. I think many, including myself, were calling for him because he understands Barcelona. He's a legend. And I thought just the understanding of the environment within the club, within the city and outside, if you will, having won everything in his life as a player, would be helpful. But now I'm starting to wonder. This rebuild and all the issues, financial issues that are happening, I just don't know if this didn't come too early in his career as a manager. So I worry about him. I'm not sure if he's going to last. I think Champions League is going to be a great indication of that, how far he takes them there, because that's one thing that would plaster over, I suppose, any other worries if they went very, very deep in that situation. I think if he stays within the top 4, that's important, but I worry about it. So yeah, I mean, you're hoping for the best with Barcelona, because it seems bleak to me the way Barcelona are playing. I mean, they're really squeaking out wins against even the lowest opposition in Copa del Rey and even in La Liga. I mean, the one good thing, I don't know if it's luck or know-how, they know how to win or get points late in games. So I suppose there's that.
Yeah, so there are some positives there. I am sure this will not be the last we'll be talking about Barcelona on ESPN Live this season. It probably won't be too long until we do so again. Thanks so much for being with us for the latest edition. We'll see you next time.